Welcome to Blog to Your Talent. This is lesson 34, and we are on the topic of new blogger mistakes. One of the mistakes you can make as a beginner blogger and a beginner in your field of talent, whether you're blogging or not, is you're going to be tempted to use excessive jargon. Usually that won't start in the first few weeks of learning your talent or blogging, but you will in the following weeks. You start getting excited because you understand some of the jargon that you didn't before, and you'll be very excited, and you'll want to use it as many times and as many places as you can. And some of you who are already quite advanced in your field of talent listening to this are probably smiling, and because you know you can spot newbies by how often they use jargon, when really just simpler words would have been okay. And that's okay. It's kind of an enthusiasm stage you go through.
Yeah. And if it's kind of like if you're trying to explain to your mom or dad how you did something, and you say, well, I was PCPing my TOW, and they're kind of like looking at you funny. That would be an example of jargon, because you're using definitions and vocabulary of certain specific to your field type of activities that they aren't familiar with. So what we're talking about is don't overuse those without giving a little bit of an explanation.
Right,
How you
and there is a place for jargon, and as you become more advanced and as you collaborate with people who are very good in your field of talent, they're going to appreciate that you use jargon to save time because they know exactly what it means.
And obviously you don't want to explain to your mentor, you're not going to explain what some of these terms are, because obviously they already know that. So in a forum you wouldn't need to, unless it's something brand new.
In a specialized form of your talent.
Right, in a forum of your talent, it's definitely specific to your talent. If everybody knows the language and you're just continuing the conversation with that jargon, then you don't need to explain. But in a blog post, you just have to assume that someone coming to your blog post may not be as familiar with all of these terms as you are.
Exactly. So most of these people in the beginning are going to be people just like you who are trying to find out, hey, there's somebody out there who's learning it like I am, so they're going to try to find out from you exactly what those terms mean. And also, to be frank, chances are you're probably not always using the term correctly, so you do want to try to explain it as much as you can. So it's a good exercise for you to, if you're going to use jargon in the beginning stages of your talent growth, be sure to provide an explanation with it. Your readers will really appreciate that. They're going to feel smart, and they're going to be grateful for you making them feel smart. So what I'd like you to do as part of this exercise is to create a blog post called Definitions. And there's a little bit something different about this blog post, because this is one that I definitely want you as a blogger to go back and keep adding over time. You're going to grow a list of definitions in this blog post related to your field of talent.
One thing is, as this list grows, and let's say 200 blog posts later, this becomes a very important list, you can actually make as part of your website a whole page, and then maybe at the top it'll just say definitions. And if there are a lot of definitions that are new to somebody entering your field of talent, they will appreciate that every time they aren't sure, they can go to that tab and then click the tab that says definitions and go look something up. Or if several blog posts later you're referring to one of the definitions and you don't want to have to keep explaining it within your blog, you can just, it's called hyperlink, where you're hyperlinking back to this specific blog post all the definitions, and that person can just go look it up if they don't know, and you could just assume that everybody else knows. So this is going to be critical in the beginning. As you build that, you can refer people, and also it's going to show you're going to get really experienced, and it's going to show how much you are learning as you go, too.
Yeah, well, also, don't forget that because this is a blog post, this is very different than an old-fashioned dictionary where all you have are text and a couple of pictures. What you can do in your blog post for definitions is actually embed a YouTube video.
Yeah.
If it's something that's very complicated and there's a difference between two terms that people don't quite understand, feel free to put in a YouTube video that clearly explains it.
It doesn't have to be your own video. You can go,
absolutely.
if you see, in fact, YouTube makes it really easy. If you see a 20-minute video, but at minute 5.4, it's talking specifically about this term that you want to use. You can actually embed it to start right at that point. So someone could click there, go see it, and then come right back and read the rest of your posts.
That is really awesome. When I grew up,
We didn't have any.
No, I had this really thick dictionary. I love dictionaries, and I used to have it next to me, and I'd love trying to read it. But frankly, you wouldn't really refer to it that much because it was so much work trying to find it, and then there wasn't that much pictures or videos to go with it, so you still have to talk to an
expert. So you are doing not only yourself a favor by showcasing what you're learning, but as people are coming up behind you and they want to learn from you, you are making this so much easier for them. They're going to catch up real quick and not have to spend so much time sorting through.
Oh yes, it would be exciting for the readers coming up behind you. All right, until next time, happy blogging.
Happy blogging.
Thank you.